Hi everybody, welcome to this lesson, and today we're going to be talking about probability, and you'll notice that it's called Introduction to Probability because there's quite a lot to talk about when it comes to probability. So we're going to talk about what it is today, do a few basic questions, and then as the weeks progress get a little bit trickier. Having said that, there are some challenging questions today, okay, so we've got to make sure we remain really focused. But first, let's go to Annabelle. Annabelle, what on earth does probability mean?
Probability is, so we can use the root word probable, which
Good,
means which means that something might happen.
good. Perfect, yeah. So probability is all about the chances something has of happening, okay? All right, so probability is a way of saying how likely something is to happen. And Annabelle was right to cite the root word probable or probably. Okay, we can kind of guess its meaning based on that, can't we? Okay, right, so let me do this question all by myself. I know it's tempting to give it a go all by yourselves, but you'll have many opportunities to do that, okay? So let me read it to you. It says, a bag contains 20 marbles. 3 are red and 5 are blue. The rest are green. Sammy takes a ball from the bag without looking. What is the probability that Sammy picks a red ball, a blue ball, a green ball? Express your answer as a simplified fraction. Okay, so when it comes to probability, especially when we're talking about expressing our answers as fractions, we need to understand how the fraction expresses probability. Okay, now the number at the bottom, which we know as the denominator, tells us how many things there are. I know that's a vague word, but for now it works, okay? So how many things there are that can be selected in this case. So we've got 20 marbles, right? So there are 20 marbles that can be selected. There are 20 marbles that have the potential to be chosen, okay? Altogether, there are 20 marbles. So that's going to be our denominator as we explain in this question, okay? But that might change throughout this question, okay? Now, in order to know what's on top, we've got to talk about, well, it depends what we're talking about. If you're talking about the red ball, for example, we know that there are 3, okay? So that simply represents the numerator because there are 3 red marbles out of 20 marbles in total. And that's it, okay? Now, like I said, probability does get a bit trickier, but to start off with, let's just appreciate how the fraction works, how it lends itself to this sort of question, and what role the numerator and the denominator plays in this question, okay? How many are blue? Well, it's the same again, isn't it? There are 20 altogether, so that becomes our denominator. And there are 5, the question tells us explicitly, there are 5 that are blue, so that becomes our numerator. And finally, green balls. How many do we have altogether? Well, it says the rest are green, so we have to work a bit harder here. We know that 3 are red and 5 are blue. That's 8. And we know the rest of them are green. If there's 20 altogether and 8 of them are red or blue, that must mean 12 must be green. So 12 represents green marbles and 20 represents the total number of marbles. But we're not quite finished because at the bottom it says express your answer as a simplified fraction. And we need to decide whether or not we can simplify the fractions on the screen. So let's go to Ava. Okay, Ava, if we take a look at the red marble probability, which is 3/20, do you reckon I can simplify this fraction?
No,
Why do you think so?
because 3 doesn't go into 20.
3 doesn't go into 20. So what about if we divide both by 2? Can we divide both by 2?
No,
No, why not?
because you can't do 3 divided by 2.
What do we get if we do 3 divided by 2? Do you know?
No.
No problem. But you're absolutely bang on, okay? So 3 is what, as you guys should know now, 3 is a prime number, okay? So 3 cannot be divided by anything except for 3 and 1 itself and 1, right? Now, if we could divide 20 by 3, we would divide 20 by 3, but we can't, okay? So we cannot simplify this any further. So Ava's bang on. It's already the correct answer. We cannot simplify it, okay? Then we move on to the next one. So let's go to Jakob. Okay, blue ball, 5 over 20, Jacob. What do you think? Should we keep it as that or can we simplify it?
5 can go into 20, but when you do it, that's 4. So I think it'll be a simplified version would be 1 over 4.
1 over 4, good. So listen to this bit really carefully, guys, if you're confused. We need, in order to simplify a fraction, we need to divide both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, okay? By the largest number possible. And Jacob said both of those numbers, 5 and 20, can be divided by 5. So we must do that. So 5 divided by 5, that's going to give us 1. And 20 divided by 5, that's going to give us 4. Okay, let's go back to what Ava said a minute ago. If we were to go up here and divide both by 3, well, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 20 divided by 3, we can't do it. We're going to get a decimal, and we're not using decimals when it comes to expressing probability as fractions. We're not bothering with decimals. We're not supposed to. Okay, so that's why Ava kept it at 3 over 20, and that's why Jacob has changed 5 over 20 to 1/4. All right, and then we move on to the green ball. Let's go to Alexa.
So 12 doesn't go into 20. It goes 12 times 2 equals 24, and it just, yeah, it won't go into 20. So you keep your answer as 12.
So remember, what we need to do is divide both of these by the same number. So is there any number that goes into both of them?
2.
2. Okay, let's do that. So we're going to divide both by 2. Alexa, if I do 12 divided by 2, what do I get?
You get 6.
And 20 divided by 2?
10.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alexa. Let's move on to Scarlett. Scarlett, take a look at the answer, 6 over 10. Are we finished, or can we simplify it further?
You can divide it by 2 again.
We can divide it by 2 again. Okay, so what result do we get if we divide both by 2?
You will get 3/5.
Amazing, 3/5. So that's the correct answer. Now, listen carefully here, guys, right? Technically, all of these are correct. They all mean the same thing. 12 over 20, 6 over 10, 3 over 5. They all mean the same thing. But when we're being asked to simplify a fraction, we only use the most simplified term, okay? Most simplified example, which in this case is 3 over 5, 3/5. That's the answer. So 6/10, although it's the same as 3/5, wouldn't actually be the correct answer, okay? All right. Let's keep going, guys. This one's all for you, okay? I'll read it. It says a bag contains 30 marbles. 12 of the marbles are red and the rest are blue. Roland removes 2 marbles of each colour from the bag. Of the marbles that remain, Annie takes one at random and without looking. What is the probability that Annie picks a red marble? Give that one a go. 20 seconds. Don't worry, guys. This is tough. Oh, Ava, that's brilliant. That's really, really good. By the way, you're supposed to find this difficult. Do not worry if you're finding it difficult. That's the whole point, okay? So do not worry. All right, 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Well done, Hayden. 0. Okay, right. Let's go through it now. There's a couple of reasons that I started off with quite a tricky question, and that's because I need to show you something that not many of you considered, which is really important when it comes to probability. Okay, it's a tough question. Okay, but I do promise you that if you watch this explanation very, very, very carefully, it will make sense. But you've got to watch carefully. Okay, so a bag contains 30 marbles. So straight away, right, even if this isn't relevant to the answer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 30 over here as the denominator, because as we already discussed, that's how many marbles there are, okay? Just so I've got some working out. I've got something to work with, even if I don't use it. It's in my head now, yeah? Okay, then it says 12 of the marbles are red and the rest are blue. Okay, so 12 over 30 are red, and the rest are blue, which means 18 are blue, right? Because 12 plus 18 gives us 30. Okay, let me quickly mark that as red and mark that as blue. Now, this is the really, really, really important bit. Watch really carefully, okay? It says Roland removes 2 marbles of each colour from the bag. So let me do the numerator first, right? I'm going to write some new numerators out now because there are fewer marbles in the bag, right? So if Roland removes 2 marbles of each colour, that means there's no longer 12 reds. He's removed 2 reds, so there's only 10 red left. And there's no longer 18 blue. He's removed 2 blue, so there's 16 blue left. Now this is the bit where many of you went wrong, and don't worry, we're going to practice it again in a minute, right? The denominator has to change. It's no longer 10 over 30 and 16 over 30. I'm going to go to Ava. Don't worry if you can't explain it, Ava, only because I know you got it correct. Ava, why does the denominator have to change?
Because you've taken 2 away from each colour, so you'll be taking 4 away.
Incredible. That's really good. And I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't expect anyone to get that because I didn't explain it. I haven't explained it yet. But that's brilliant, right? Roland removed 4 marbles, 2 of each colour. So that means that our denominator has changed. It's no longer 30. There's 4 fewer. So there's 26. So 10 over 26 and 16 over 26. Makes sense, yeah? All right. Then it says, of the marbles that remain, Annie takes one at random and without looking. What is the probability that she picks a red marble? Okay, so we know that the new fraction for the red marbles is 10 over 26. So that's the answer, but we must express our answer as a simplified fraction, okay? Let me go to the chat. Let's go to Era. Era, how might I simplify 10 over 26?
You might half 10, which is 5, half 26, which is 13. And
So
you can't simplify that any further because they are both odd numbers and they don't go into each other.
Amazing. Very, very good. Sorry for interrupting you there, Era. 5 over 13. Try and get out of the habit of saying because they're both odd numbers, because remember, odd numbers can be factors, but you are right. 5 is a prime number which doesn't go into 13. It's not a factor of 13. So we have found our simplified fraction. The answer is 5 over 13. Now, everyone that answered that didn't get the correct answer, you did a really good thing, right? You knew what the numerator should be, but you forgot to, when I say you forgot, I never explained it to you, right? That the denominator must also change, like Ava said, because we've removed some marbles. And that's the tricky thing about probability questions like this, okay? Good news is, we've got another go. All right, give it a go, guys. I won't read this one to you. You can read it all by yourselves. And then we'll talk about it in about 1 minute. Yes, Ava, very good. Perfect, Theo. Perfect, Joshua. Perfect, Chrissy. Perfect, Jacob. Perfect, Ira. Brilliant, guys. This is much more like it. Fantastic. Perfect, Arianoki. Oh, Alexa, does B mean blue? Perfect, Annabelle. Try not to feel, I know it's difficult when you get new question types and they're a little bit wordy and a bit tricky, but try not to feel overwhelmed by them. Just break it down, do one sentence at a time, okay? And if it still goes wrong, that's why we're here, right? If it still goes wrong, we're here to practice, so don't worry too much, okay? Well done, Hayden. All right, 15 seconds. Perfect, Scarlett. All right, who are we going to? I won't pick, if you've not sent the correct answer, I won't pick you because it's not good of me to put you on the spot if your answer's not correct. I think that's not, and also you might not feel confident to answer. So let's go to Chrissy. You've got it correct. All right, Chrissy, do you mind explaining this one?
So it says that there are 10 marbles. So if you take out one of the marbles, there would be 9 marbles left.
Before you go any further, Chrissy, why are we taking out a marble? You are correct, but why are we removing a marble?
Because it says if Sarah removes the pink marble.
Perfect. All right, let's keep going.
And then it says, which one has a probability of 1 in 3 chance of being selected by the next person. So what you have to do is you have to do 9 divided by 3, which wouldn't be 2 because they're not in the same times table. Wouldn't be 4 because they're not in the same times table. So it'll be 3.
Which is which colour?
Blue.
Perfect. Yeah, very good, Chrissy. And honestly, although Chrissy's explanation was brilliant, I'll explain it one more time for anyone that's still feeling a little bit confused. So if that did confuse you, do not worry, but listen really carefully, right? I'm just going to say what Chrissy said once more. So we had a denominator of 10, didn't we? Because there were 10 marbles. But then really, really quickly, we have to change that to 9 because Sarah removes one. So when we're talking about this bag of marbles, we're now only referring to 9 marbles, so that becomes our new denominator. All right, then it says, once she's removed it, which marble has a probability of 1/3 of being selected by the next person? Well, let's talk about all of them. So there are still 4 red marbles. So there are 4 over 9 marbles, which isn't the same as 1/3. And there are 3 over 9 blue marbles, which is the same as 1/3. Like Chris has said, if we divide both by 3, if we divide 3 by 3, we get 1. If we divide 9 by 3, we get 3. So they're equivalent. They're the same, okay? So well done if you said blue. And once again, if you didn't, please, please, please don't worry. Keep going. You've got this, okay? Ready for the next one? Annabelle, I'm not sure why you can't see the whole question. Everybody else can. So maybe you've got something covering your screen, or if you leave and I can let you back in, maybe that'll help too. Perfect, Jacob. Perfect, Ava. Theo, good. Good, but remember, we must simplify the fraction. Perfect, Theo. Perfect, Ava. All right, 15 seconds. Perfect, Scarlett. Perfect, Arian Oki. Perfect, Joshua. Yeah, it can be tricky. Don't worry. Do not worry. Perfect, Hayden. Okay, right. Let's go to, who did we speak to last? We spoke to Chrissy. All right, let's go to, just checking to see who's got it correct. Gersima, you got it correct. How did you get the answer, Gersima?
So I got the answer 2/5,
No,
and
hold on. That's not what you said.
oh,
What did you got?
3/5.
Perfect.
I got the answer 3/5, and I got that answer because there it says what is a probability that it does not land on a blue panel. So first of all, I counted up all the strands inside the circle, which equaled 10. And then I counted all the ones that weren't blue, and then I simplified it down, which gave me 3/5.
Yeah, well explained. Fantastic. All right, so if you're still a little bit confused, watch carefully. And if you misunderstood and you counted, you calculated the probability that it does land on the blue panel, don't worry, but be very careful with these sorts of problems, okay? We're looking for the probability that it does not land on the blue panel. Okay, so what Gersima said is he first worked out the denominator by counting how many panels that it could possibly land on. Now, I know this is going to sound really strange, guys, but honestly, a very common mistake that students make is actually the easiest part of the question, and that's the counting bit. Yeah, because we're so used to counting, sometimes we miscount. If we count that there are 9 here or 11 here rather than 10, it affects our whole answer, doesn't it? Okay, so look what I've done. I've put numbers in all of them. Okay, so I know that there are 10. So the denominator must be 10. If we know that 4 are blue, it must mean that 6, the numerator, are not blue, and therefore we have a 6/10 chance of it not landing on a blue panel. And then Gersima simplified it by seeing that both of those, the numerator and denominator, were divisible by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. And we get the answer 3/5. All right, well done, guys. Let's move on. Let's do another one. How many more red panels need to be added to the current wheel so that there is a 1/3 chance of the spinner landing on red? Ooh, that's a tough one. Give that a go, guys. No, don't get, some of you are guessing, you're answering way too quickly. Work it out, guys. Don't guess, work it out. It can't be a half. It can't be a half. We can only add whole panels. Remember what Ava said earlier about the denominator changing? That's a clue. Perfect, Scarlett. Our answer shouldn't be a fraction, guys. Our answer should just be a whole number, yeah? Because it's asking how many panels do we need to add to that wheel. So we're looking for a number rather than a fraction. Okay, this was a tough one based on your answers, which is no problem. We'll talk about it, okay? Let's have another 10 seconds. I think, yes, Ava, good. I think we've only got one, maybe two correct answers. Yeah, we've got 2 correct answers. All right. Now, when I say stuff like many people got it wrong, or when I say stuff like only a couple got it correct, I'm trying to tell you that you are not strange or unusual for not knowing how to answer this. I'm trying to show you that this is a hard question, but we're going to get through it, okay? You've just got to focus, right? Look really carefully here, guys. So we're trying to figure out how many panels we need to add to this wheel so that red has a probability of 1/3 chance of being landed on, right? Now, at present, there are 10 panels and 2 are red. So it's not 1/3 at the moment, is it? It's 1/5, okay? And I can tell, based on some of your answers, like trying to go into decimals and stuff, that you wasn't thinking about the denominator. Remember, when we add panels, that denominator would increase as well. There will no longer be 10 panels at the bottom, or on the wheel, sorry. There'll be more. So watch this. If we add 1 red panel, the numerator will be 3, and the denominator will be 11. Because we've added a panel. We've added the red one. So red panel, there's now 3, and total panels, there's now 11. But 3 over 11 is not 1/3, is it? So let's add another panel. If we add another panel, we'll have 4 at the top and 12 at the bottom. And look, 4 over 12 is equivalent to 1/3. If we divide 4 by 4, we get 1. If we divide 12 by 4, we get 3. Yeah? And that's how we answer this question. It's tricky, guys. It's tricky. It's not the maths that's tricky. I think you all know this. It's not the numbers. We're dealing with such small numbers here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What's tricky is the reasoning behind it. Knowing what's going on. Trying to keep lots of stuff in our heads at the same time. Adjusting the numerator and the denominator at the same time. It's hard, okay? But regular practice, honestly, you'll be fine. Okay. Yeah, it's not 1. If you just said 1 in the chat box, it isn't 1, it's 2. We need to add 2, yeah? Okay. All right, this is the final question, guys. Let me read it to you. It says, there are 8 chocolates in a jar. 5 of them are nut chocolates. 2 of them are caramel chocolates. And 1 of them is an orange chocolate. George fills the jar with an additional 10 nut chocolates. He then takes a chocolate without looking and at random. What is the probability that George selects a caramel chocolate? Please, can you express your answer as a simplified fraction? Yes, Jacob. Very good and very quick. I can see, even though I can't physically see you, I can feel those cogs in your head moving really, really quickly. I can see that you're getting it. It's fantastic. Perfect, Ava. Very good. Perfect, Chrissy. Amazing. This is much more like it, guys. Okay, 20 seconds. Perfect Gosima, perfect Era, perfect Scarlett, perfect George. Well, George, you should know as you are the protagonist of the question. Perfect Theo. Perfect Thomas. All right, shall we go through it? Let's go through it. Okay, if it's all right with you guys, I'll explain this one, just for those that are still a little bit confused. All right, there are 8 chocolates in the jar. Before we do anything, I'm just going to, over here, write 8 as the denominator because it just helps me process it. When you read something and then write it down, it helps with the processing, yeah? Then it says 5 of them are nut chocolates, 2 are caramel, and 1 is orange. Now, this is the really important part. George fills the jar with an additional 10 nut chocolates. So the jar no longer has 8, it has 10 more. It has 18. So we can scrap that, right? Now, he only added nut chocolates. He didn't add any, what are we looking for? We're looking for caramel chocolates. He didn't add any caramel chocolates, so that remains as 2. There are 2 over 18. So the answer is going to be 2 over 18 expressed as a simplified fraction. We can divide 2 and 18 both by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. And we have our answer. The answer is 1 over 9, or 1/9. Amazing. Guys, this hasn't been easy, but this is something that we're going to focus on, not only for those of you that do these regular online lessons, but for those that do face-to-face lessons. So please don't worry if you're finding it tough. Every new topic that we sort of look at together for the first time is always going to be tough, okay? So you're doing very well. Could you do me a favor? Could you please send to me a number out of 10? How do you feel about today's lesson? How confident are you with questions like this?